We are on a mission to save and revitalize independent pharmacy.
On the Catalyst Pharmacy podcast, you'll get actionable business advice.
Hear stories from industry leaders.
And share a laugh or two with us.
Fuel your passion for pharmacy.
One conversation at a time.
4,
3,
2,
1. Ignition.
Welcome to the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Key, president of PioneerRx, and today I'm here with Marsha.
Hi, I'm Marsha Bivins, Director of Marketing for PioneerRx. Today we're here with Chris Cielewich, who is the VP of Sales for FLAVORx.
All right, so for those out there in the world who don't know much about you, give us just a few minutes about your background, how you got where you are today.
So I'm Chris Cielewich with FLAVORx. It's been about 20 years in this journey.
Wow.
Was fortunate out of college. I was doing some IT and telecom recruiting in the DC area, and the rise and fall of the .coms I got to see from both ends right after graduating. So after the kind of .com bust, it was a real grind just trying to find startup companies that were still hiring in 2001 and 2, and that certainly ingrained a work ethic to hustle and think outside of the box and to look for new business.
So you were a recruiter. You were recruiting.
I was.
Okay, go ahead.
Really? Okay.
Yep. And happened to stumble into one of my clients' office buildings, and it smelled like bubblegum. And so I was like, what the heck is going on here? So after I had my normal work appointment, I started searching around. I saw this FLAVORx name on the wall and peeked my head in. I was like, what are you guys doing? It smells like bubblegum in here. And they said, we just started this company, and here's what we're doing. We're trying to help kids take their medications. And I was like, that's something I could get behind. And
nice.
So, it was just kind of a great timing and opportunity where they were looking for this doctor detailing and customer service team to go travel the entire country and start planting seeds and spreading the word about how we could help improve adherence. And so over the next 5 to 10 years, I literally lived out of a suitcase going from state to state and hit about 48 states, visiting every pediatrician, ENT, allergy and asthma, anyone that was seeing kids. And we'd bring samples of prednisolone and Cleocin that are flavored and unflavored and said, hey, do you guys realize what you're prescribing for kids, and how many calls do you get where they're having difficulty taking it? And here's what happens if you add our flavoring agents. So it was
So that was a prescriber
journey.
side. Now, did y'all still push the prescriber side?
It's become, especially right now, it's become extremely difficult to get into those doctors' offices. And it's also very costly because we weren't hiring a group all over the country. We had, at its peak, about 12 to 15 folks that were all based in Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay.
We would hop on the Southwest flight out of BWI, and it would just every Monday we'd fly to a different state. And then every Friday night we'd fly home. And you do your laundry and you talk Monday morning in the office about what you liked and disliked and what you learned. And then Monday evening, you fly back out to the next state. So it was a very high growth, a lot of excitement. I mean, we had, less than 1,000 customers at that point when I stumbled in there. And it was primarily independent pharmacies that they were delivering to at that time. And the demand just kind of dictated, opening this up everywhere. And independents are still by far our best pound for pound customer, but the chains eventually got into offering the service as well.
A little late, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, all right. So tell us about your personal life.
So I know you have
we know
boys.
you have some boys. Yeah, we know you have a little
and
soccer
I saw
player.
the Curve It Like Beckham challenge.
Yeah, that one did not end well for me. But
so tell us about that.
Married for 15 years now, and 2 boys that are one's 10, one's 13, and both playing at pretty high levels of soccer. So they've outrun my coaching ability. So now they're both playing on teams traveling all over the country. And unfortunately, because of COVID, we've had a few international trips that have been canceled. We were supposed to go to England. We were supposed to go to Scotland.
Wow.
This April, we're supposed to go to Barcelona. So I'm crossing my fingers that
April 2022, you're supposed to go to Barcelona.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Maybe that'll be good by then.
So what's their favorite flavor?
I think it varies from time to time, but strawberry seems to be the go-to for both of the boys. And so a funny story with my own kids and experience, my youngest, when he was really little, had a staph infection that required Cleocin, and that's one of the worst tasting and smelling drugs, period. And the first couple days we couldn't get it down, and my wife's looking at me like, dude, this is your job. Like, get him to take the medicine.
This is your fault. This is your job. Figure it out.
Right. So we eventually did. Took a couple days and some bribing, but the flavoring certainly helped, and that's where we figured out some of the other strategies with short-term rewards and incentives for completing a medication regimen. So.
Yeah, so my funny story is I had just started working at Pioneer. Mackie was 3 at the time, and she got the flu. And, of course, gave it to me. And so giving her Tamiflu.
Did you need strawberry, or did you need...
Again, I'm just getting started in the industry. This is before Pioneer, and I'm having to give this 3-year-old liquid Tamiflu. And we're both like laid up on the couch, sick, coughing. And anytime I doze off, I figured this out. She would go to the fridge and get her liquid Tamiflu and throw it in the trash.
Jeez.
Because I would go to throw something away. I was like, why is our medication in the trash? And then I'd put it back in the fridge. And then I caught her going to the fridge, opening it up, getting the Tamiflu and throwing it in.
She was 3.
And you know what? That I don't know that anyone's done a study starting at that and what the impacts are later in life. But, so often medication adherence is an issue that everyone faces. But I think some of those behaviors are learned at a very early age in an acute medication. And so, we learn to treat symptoms. And once the runny nose and the sore throat go away, some parents, if they're struggling to administer the medicine, might not give those last couple doses. And it's important to retrain everyone.
So when are we going to start flavoring capsules and tablets? Because I hate taking pills.
Can you flavor Tamiflu where they can actually take it?
Yeah.
It was actually a great story for us that Tamiflu was not flavored. And so my kids probably, I don't know, maybe 6.
You said they got it
9,
once, and then after that, they always got their flu shot.
Both kids got flu one year when they were young, and I don't remember how young, but they were young, and they had to do the liquid Tamiflu, and they hated it, and we mixed it with stuff and that kind of stuff. After that, every year when it was time for a flu shot, they were,
sign me up.
Give it to me. I mean, really, they remembered that so bad that they never complained about another shot in their life. Getting a shot. They did never want to take liquid Tamiflu again.
Just another wonderful testimony to FLAVORx and what you do for kids.
Well, and we had we have a press release ready for at the beginning of every flu season. Last year, as you guys know, between lockdowns and masks and remote learning, there was no Tamiflu dispensed. Zero. Yeah. And so we started kind of throwing out theories of what was it going to look like at the other end of when the world gets back to whatever normal is. And what hopefully you haven't seen, but what's happening, there was a June, July, August crazy cough and cold season.
Right.
And so,
yeah, I got a cold this summer.
Yeah, and it's miserable. The only thing worse than a cold in the winter is a cold in the summer. And so, but we're starting to see even Tamiflu being dispensed again. And so we're getting ready to let the world know and remind them that, yes, this can and should be flavored because it's brutal tasting.
Do you know what percentage of our pharmacies use FLAVORx?
We have about 3,000 or 3,500 active independents. Okay. And when I say that, they're using either our equipment, our dispensing automation, like what's behind me, or they're using our formulary to look up recipes. There's probably another 3,000 to 4,000 pharmacies that have our flavors, and whether they're compounding or just whether they're just kind of flavoring a couple one-offs here and there, it's kind of hard to tell. So officially, we'll say that there's about 3,500 independent pharmacies that are actively flavoring using our system.
I know Bigelow has it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they using it? Did they have that equipment right there? Yeah.
We're trying to get that featured because they're. It's kind of with Bigelow, they have the history and the nostalgia of hundreds of years of experience, and this is kind of a nice way to say, yeah, we have all that, but we're also modern, and we've got this new automation, and we've adapted with the times because pharmacists have been putting flavoring into medications and using syrups and things like that for years, but we were the first to kind of put together this system and really help customers to market that as a differentiator, so bringing it to the masses.
So that's one way. So your business has been down because of the pandemic, because people weren't getting Tamiflu.
Because kids aren't getting sick because they were locked down.
And that was one of my questions for you guys about, what has forced you to come up with any new ideas or innovate. I mean, this last year for us has been such an innovative year because of necessity. I mean, we weren't selling our flavorings, which is our bread and butter.
Right.
And what we noticed was while kids weren't getting sick, guess what? There were 12 million cats and dogs that were adopted, and we have a veterinary line of flavorings. And so that became a big focus for us. And we came out with these little pet masks, which are pretty cute. So that's been very popular both with vet clinics as well as independent pharmacies that are getting into the pet prescribing space.
Okay, so the pet flavors, is this like salmon and chicken?
Yes.
Beef bouillon?
Yeah, peanut butter, there's red Angus beef, and crispy bacon's probably one of our more popular flavors. So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm a big April Fool's fan and like to do, pranks and things like that. So we thought it would be funny one year to put out a press release about bacon flavored amoxicillin, and that backfired.
Oh, no.
I mean, we had so many requests of, where's the recipe for the bacon amoxicillin? And we're like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
It was April Fool's.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've seen the little, it was a video going around a long time on YouTube, and it was this little kid. It was probably a year old or 18 months old. And it's this kid's first time trying bacon. And he takes a bite of it, and then he closes his eyes and he goes, bacon. And then it's just bacon. And he just starts screaming bacon. And I was like, yeah, kids love bacon.
Adults love bacon.
Adults love bacon. It's not good for us. But I love bacon.
If you find somebody who doesn't like bacon, they may not eat it because they're vegetarian, but if they actually don't like bacon, you got to question their morals.
So trade show season is kicking back up. Are you going to be at NCPA?
It's just as it started kicking back up. I know. I don't know what you guys have seen. I had 3 shows canceled just this week.
Really?
So,
What canceled this week?
Yeah, some of the regional retailers that we typically will go out and attend were both canceled just this week.
Oh, wow.
So I'm hopeful that the NCPA show continues. I think it's in Charlotte, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have Kevin Etter, one of our reps that is an independent account director, is based right there in Charlotte. So fingers crossed. I mean, we love interacting. It's one of my favorite parts of the job. And
I miss it.
Yep.
And your fun
I do
shoes.
too.
Your super, super fun shoes. You auctioned them off one year. It was a giveaway.
Yeah, so that was just taking advantage of some friends at Under Armour that gave us access to this customization program. But the story fits so well where we're talking about customizing the taste of medication. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we were raffling off at trade shows the chance to customize your own Under Armour shoes. And so I wrapped our booth on the shoe, and I still have them. But I think that program at Under Armour is currently on pause, but hopefully that comes back soon.
Yeah. So. It's interesting. Yeah, hopefully some states the shows will still have. We've got we're going to Smith Drug next week in South Carolina.
Isle of Palms, South Carolina.
Outside of Charleston.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then NCPA in October would be the next one after that, right?
For me and you, yes. For company, no.
We got people going where? Kansas?
Kansas, because Mark's going to that one. We've got a Symbia is also in October, but
Where's the Symbia?
Vegas, baby.
Well, Vegas will happen. They'll just have to be in mask. We went to HIMSS, and
last
HIMSS
week
verified vaccination status. You couldn't go in unless you were vaccinated. And of course, Vegas is mask.
Vegas has gone back to mask mandate,
and we didn't get COVID, so.
And
that's good. That's a big. I mean, HIMSS is a pretty big show.
Yeah,
it was.
It was
thinned out
normal.
about half. I think they had a lot of retailers that canceled the last minute. So
you saw a lot of unmanned booths where they still had somebody set up there.
Yeah, scan our QR code, learn more about us. Sorry, we're not here.
They have an iPad with a virtual Zoom meeting with the reps. Or not?
Just really had a setup.
It was a 20 by 20 booth, and it had like a 10 to 12 foot tall
that was Cisco
thing, and it was like feature, we do this, bullet point, QR code, and that was it. Nobody in the booth.
What and this is probably good for pharmacy owners, but also I'm interested just as a supplier. How have you guys navigated the virtual trade shows? Because we personally haven't had a ton of success.
Our position is we don't do them. our virtual trade shows, our website.
www.pioneerx.com.
That's right.
So, I mean, that and Facebook is a nice little virtual kind of bump, and so just social media, period. I have not heard anything positive speaking to other vendors.
Yeah. And some people may do virtual content, right? When you're at physically at a place and you're between content, you go to the trade show, you check it out and you kill time. When you're at home, you go to the restroom and go make your dinner and go do your other things you have to do. So
have your glass of wine and you sit there and TikTok.
Yep. So yeah, we haven't. Matter of fact, I think we didn't even try. I think we knew that from talking to some people who had been already, and if things go virtual, we're like, yeah, no, just roll our money till next year.
And even a really good point to that, there was a virtual conference that we were supposed to go to in Germany.
Right.
And it was a marketing conference. And I'm so ashamed to admit this. Partially is because I've just crazy busy and I have not had time to, they sent me the virtual content, the videos, and I've saved them in a folder. And I'm like, I'm going to watch it tonight. And it's like, then the kids come up with something or projects. So I still have not watched those.
Yeah, one thing that we did was we took some of the funds that we would have allocated towards trade shows, and we actually put together content and had a CE developed, which it's our first CE in
that was a good idea.
15 years. And
nice.
So, whether or not there's those trade shows, everyone's looking for content and continuing education.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we came out with a pediatric adherence CE that we sponsored.
Wow.
And, it ties in how flavoring can be part of the solution there.
What a great idea. Why
So
didn't we come out with a
amazing.
CE?
Why didn't we think
Look
of
at that. So was it well attended? Was that good?
We just released it probably 3 or 4 months ago. So we're still getting the word out, and hopefully through anyone listening to this that they might be interested and check it out. We'll send the links to you guys if you want to share that with your members. But
so will you do something like that at Connect, where you do the CE version of that, or you think you're going to do more like your normal?
The goal is to get it certified for live CE.
Okay.
It's not something that I don't think I'm allowed to do that.
So that's true. Yeah.
So if, we can talk offline and talk about some other folks in the industry that might be willing or interested to present on that topic.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a nice pivot when we do get back to Connect is, take a little break from the marketing and biz dev.
We have it on the schedule.
We got
See
the
you
plug.
there.
Wow. All right. So excited. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's, trade
We haven't had
shows,
Connected 2 years at that point.
this will be 3 years later, which is why I was playing around with the team yesterday. It's reconnect. Let's reconnect. So having some fun there. So I've really missed trade shows because I miss, seeing all of y'all's wonderful smiley faces and hearing about your kids on the trade show floor and what's new with you guys, product and everything.
I want to be where the people are.
I do too. I also want to be in the bottom of the ocean with
that's true.
With
That's
3,000
true, too.
PSI on my back.
That's perfect.
But no.
Do you scuba dive?
I have not scubaed. Plenty of snorkeling over the years,
Yep.
but that's something I would love to just put a few days
it.
towards getting accredited and
Yep. You
get
got to
after
do it. Yeah, Marsha, 2 years ago, Hawaii, I guess, maybe 3 years ago, Hawaii. She was snorkeling and she was seeing the little scuba people down there and like,
Well, I kept trying to.
I want to be where the people are. I want to be down there. I gotta go down there. And she untethered from her deal and tried to swim down there and she couldn't stay very low. She's like, I'm coming back and I'm getting certified.
Yeah, I was free diving and came back and Mark's like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I was like, "Pay for my certification. I want to be a certified diver."
And I'm generally the sidekick on stuff like that, so I had to follow through. So
No.
Mark got it, Kelly got
That's
what
not true.
was not true.
Because you were like, you could die from this. Here's the statistics. You were trying to scare me out of it. I was like, "Yep, I know."
It's just what I do.
I'm thinking the next Reconnect is going to be an Under the Sea theme now. Just hearing the enthusiasm. You can have a little mermaid booth, and Jeff can be the crab, Sebastian, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Come back here. You can't do that. It's dangerous. That is so him. Yes, thank you.
So here we are. So all right. So what? Any new stuff coming up? I know a couple years ago y'all introduced the machine, right?
Yep.
That would mix the stuff for you.
Yes, that's been a great hit. It's really been a huge catalyst. We had to make flavoring effortless, and in the manual sense, when we first introduced 20 years ago, it just time was our enemy, and especially in today's world. So, streamlining the dispensing workflow and introducing custom flavoring into digital reconstitution, we've seen flavoring rates go from 1 or 2 a week to 5 to 10 a day, and I think at the other end of COVID coming out of this, we're seeing a huge opportunity to attract that next generation of young families in the community and really separate yourself from the pharmacy across the street. And one of the easiest ways to build that relationship and trust with them is in this acute sense when they've got that first Tamiflu saying, hey, what's your child's favorite flavor?
Yeah.
We can make this bubblegum for you. So I think everyone's going to be competing with those omni-channel, how do we get the script into the customer's hands? But acute meds and liquid antibiotics are still one of those, I'm going to the pediatrician and I'm going right to the pharmacy to get my script. That's still an in-person visit.
We should do a blog on our How to Open a Pharmacy that talks about the flavoring as an angle of making sure, hey, if you open a retail pharmacy, make sure you start doing this from the beginning, right? And when you open doing 4 scripts a day, make sure you're getting out there and canvass the pediatricians in the area and say, hey, just let you know we do this in case somebody doesn't, because some of these rural areas, people don't do this.
I'm going to take it a step further. So now you're talking about a blog that, yes, specifically caters to FLAVORx. Love it. Amazing. But you're talking about catering to the children.
Well, you're talking about an angle to make sure you do this when you open it.
Yeah, make sure you do this. Make sure you do some kind of adherence packaging for either a specific age group or
right. Yeah, that you have a manual, some type of manual.
Some kind of manual.
But
that's
kind of
like,
in a, hey, here's some must-dos. Because I don't think, if I'm starting off a brand new pharmacy, I may not need to buy the big machine to start with. What am I cost starting off with?
If you're looking just to start with manual flavor bottles and our marketing materials, you're looking at about $500.
Yeah. So $500.
And I mean, we'll give you the marketing materials to take to those pediatricians. And I think educating them that you have this service, that you're working together to make medicine time less stressful for those patients. I mean, that's a win.
It's just time and time again we're on these, and the difference of success between we're finding our pharmacies who are killing it and the ones that aren't, or they're connected to their community, right? And so if I open a pharmacy, don't mail your stuff out. Go visit the pediatrician. Get in the door and say, hey, we opened up a new pharmacy. It's right down the street from you, and we flavor. And here's some stuff. Can I put my cards beside your GoodRx card here? I don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to take it away, but can I put my cards here? Don't take theirs. Hey, I'm independent. They're not. And maybe even have a business card that has a different card that has a kid feel to it. Have a different business card that I put in a pediatrician's office than I would put into my other, something that feels fun.
We've suggested to folks in the past putting a business card with, we'll give you you can download some of the flavoring images, but a free on your next prescription, that on a card is a great thing to actually measure and track where it's coming from.
Oh, yeah. No, that's great.
Add it in Pioneer that when you ask them what is their communication preference, what is your flavor preference?
I love that idea of we just got to help them any way we can. We've got a page on our website that's how to open a pharmacy that goes through a lot of steps. It's very probably the number 1 or 2 search results for that. Lots of people go there when they're looking to open a pharmacy, and I think that would be a cool thing to add.
We should definitely add things you must have.
Yeah, I think it's a must.
Great starter kits, yeah.
I'll give a plug for GRX, and I've had a lot of collaborations with Nicole McClure, and I know you guys have done some episodes with them as well. I mean, the marketing side and the business development side of starting a pharmacy is probably one of the most underrated, because you can have all the clinical services and everything else, but do you know how to get that message into the community? And it just takes a different way of thinking to get out there. If you're not getting those scripts coming in, you got to go out there and find them.
Yeah, I wish I was in another one. It makes me angry that the big boxes have kind of co-opted the community pharmacy word. Initially community pharmacy meant, hey, the person who owns that pharmacy lives in the community, because, then you could say things like, hey, community pharmacy without the community piece is nothing, right? You got to get out in the community. You got to get out in the community. Now independent pharmacy sounds like we're independent. You got to stay by yourself. I don't know. It's just, I wish we could find a new word. I need to thesaurus it and see what can I think of for.
We like trying to use the phrase of positioning your pharmacy as the health and wellness destination, but the timing of this conversation is great because J.D. Power just came out again with their guest satisfaction, and year after year, it's the top 3 on that list are always the independent groups, and the bottom 3 are the some of the biggest in the country, and so. To be the best, but to not have the awareness that you are the best, it's this conundrum that we're trying to solve for. So,
so what's all right? So we're talking about we got on the machine and then we got distracted, and we have the pet flavoring stuff, which is super cool. I think we should try to do a blog on that as well, because I think there are a lot of our pharmacies that are trying to think about that. So
after the bacon press release fiasco, is there going to be a bacon flavor for kids?
I've tried it. Actually, a fun fact,
it wasn't good.
No, not for humans.
It's not good for humans.
When you hear the word bacon, you expect that like crispness, and that it just in a liquid form, it doesn't
just
really
expectation
hit the mark for me.
So it should have been more of an April Fool's press release, a really bad April Fool's press release.
If you do come up here for a meeting, I will tell you not to leave your coffee and get up and walk away, because that's often a couple drops of that will ruin your morning. So,
where are you at?
We're in Columbia, Maryland.
Maryland.
Right in between Baltimore and DC.
Okay.
Yeah, we've talked about having a connect in
Baltimore.
We can give you some ideas if you ever want to look into that.
So what's next? So they're like, I've been trying to get to this for like 10 minutes. What's coming next for you guys next year? We got something cool, some new machine, some.
Yeah, actually, so this was what's coming now was the last year, because we didn't have the flavoring sales. We also came up, I don't know if you can see that on there. This is our rainbow dose syringes.
Okay.
And so we were trying to find other commodities ripe for disruption. I don't know that syringes are really, that innovative, but most pharmacies will hand out a clear or a white syringe to customers with their medication. We said, you know what, why not have some fun with this and try and get it to match the flavor. Most of our flavorings, actually all of our flavorings, are dye-free. So at least if the syringe that you're administering is colored and kind of coordinates with that flavor.
So this is a syringe that puts it in the kid's mouth so they don't drink it?
Yep.
Is that what the deal is?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
You know what it needs?
Yep.
It needs a little flashy LED.
Oh, everything needs an LED. I mean, kids are up at 2 a.m. needing their medicine. You can find it real quickly. I am a sucker for anything that lights up also.
I am too. I don't know what that is about humans that we just like, it lights it like,
Lights. Maybe that's why most adults flock to Vegas.
Maybe so. A lot of lights.
Yep. And that's why flies flock to the fly.
Mm-hmm.
They have a product about taking pills easier too. Is that right?
Yeah, I was going to come back to that because Marsha, you said something about that earlier. We have that Pill Glide product, which I don't have right behind me, but it's a flavored glycerin spray. We have it in strawberry flavor, and that is designed to coat the capsules and tablets. A lot of vitamins and supplements that are, horse pills. It'll
that's a great
make
idea.
that whole process
Where
easier.
is that marketed? Is that like OTC?
It is, yeah, and it actually does well in independent pharmacies where you have a relationship and you know which customers have complained about swallowing large pills. If you just stick it on the shelf in the compliance tools section, people might walk past it and not give it a second thought.
Well, and maybe that should be a flag in Pioneer.
Well, that's what I was about to ask him. Do you have a list of NDCs that are big pills?
We do, yep. And metformin is another big one. I mean, some could be tied to taste or smell of the pill, and some could just be tied to the size.
Because we could do the same thing. Didn't we do a prompt at the point of sale?
We did one at the point of sale for flavoring.
Why don't we do the same thing and make
for
it
horse
available
pills.
for horse pills, where somebody could have where it would recommend, and we can let people know, hey, this thing's out there.
Well, if you do your show in Baltimore where we've got the Preakness, maybe horse pills will be our theme of our booth.
Horse pills. Yeah, no, but I think that would be cool. I don't know what's the price point. What's it usually retail at?
It usually retails between $6.99 and $7.99. There's a couple hundred sprays in each bottle. we're selling it online through Amazon right now.
How's it doing there?
There's waves. There's times where, people will get it and they'll be hooked on it, and, they will reorder regularly.
And then they're healthy and then they don't. Yeah, because if anytime I get an antibiotic and it's like,
oh, you would be all over that.
I'm like, I've got the pill cutter and I'm like chopping that thing up.
We'll send you some samples. You can be the testimonial.
Yeah, I have I take lysine every day, and the pills is just massive. It's hard to do. Fortunately I found some capsules that are easier to swallow, but I might would have tried that instead. So.
Yeah, like even Tylenol, I get the candy coated.
And we should do a blog on that too. There's so many cool ideas. Those are cool things people don't know that are out there. Mm-hmm. Dude, what's the penetration on the glycerin spray?
I mean, that is probably, oh God, we probably introduced that 7 or 8 years ago. So it's now steady with online sales, primarily being the main driver, and a lot of independents that will keep it right next to the register. Yep. But some of the mass merchants and other chain drug stores, it just.
Can we get a list of stores? Would you be able to say what stores of ours have that by the register so that we can use them to try the little prompt and see if that moves it faster?
And I don't think I know we have, you're listed on our website as one of our connected vendors, but I don't think we have the spray listed, do we, for the adult flavoring?
Yeah, we need to get
that added on there too.
And
there's more.
There's more, right? Because he didn't know what it looked like. Yeah, what? Really? You could do that as a kids pill swallowing trainer.
It's a great, I did that with my own kids. Yep.
So imagine a version of that's very kid. I don't know you didn't have the product that it looks like, but imagine a version of that looks very kid friendly, very ladybugs
He's
on
looking
it.
for it.
Oh yeah.
Going back to the Yo Gabba Gabba.
Medicine time flavors. But this whole concept, it's a pill trainer, right? Trying to get your kids to learn how to swallow pills.
Well, no, not just
lube
that.
It up.
Now you're hitting an age group. So if it's this age group, so they're no longer getting the liquid medications. Hey, your 8-year-old's been prescribed this tablet. Can he take tablets? Okay, well then let's try this flavoring.
Because I think if the kids did that starting off taking their pills, they'd be always like, "Where's my flavor spray?" You know what I mean? That would be 8-year-old to 18-year-old, maybe mine to 27-year-old. They'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not. I learned how to swallow pills with the flavor spray. Can I have the flavor spray?"
Because the chocolate syrup doesn't always work.
And prednisone,
nasty.
That if any of that touches your tongue,
it's nasty.
Is so horrible.
But it's
you're why don't you coat this pill?
It's super tiny though, so it's easy to take.
I don't know. You just have to be. Please, you're like, can I flick it? Please don't let it touch my tongue.
So we two old tricks that we used to recommend for that type of scenario. If you got something that's really bitter that is going to stick around for a while, white grape juice is a nice chaser to kind of cleanse the palate. Mm-hmm. But also, this little icy pops where you can get 500 of them for $1.
Oh yeah.
If you numb the taste buds, just eat half of one of those and then take that pill.
We have the ones with vodka.
Orange juice is a good chaser. Yeah, the mojito,
little vodka mojito
and
pop. That's a great idea. Numb your tongue.
We found some adult chaser ice pops that we've been enjoying this summer.
Well, normally they're horrible, but these you found some that were
really good. Yeah, I found orange juice is a good chaser for some of the big vitamins too. Although there's some medications
I'm just even thinking
that
about
are.
The prednisone is just.
I like when they put me on prednisone. It's all right, inappropriate happiness, here I come.
Yeah, no, one of the side effects they list for prednisone is inappropriate happiness. Okay, so you're happy for no reason.
Yeah, it is a very fun week when I get put on prednisone. Not this week. I'm just fun, period. But it's a whole nother level. It's very inappropriate, and just you shouldn't go anywhere. Just sit right here.
Just sit down. I think I think there's a placebo effect going on there. Really,
that's always had maybe a little bit of the extra giggly side effect, and I'm like, I'm feeling better. This is great. And then he reads that, and I was like, that explains it.
I think you're just extra giggly. That's the secret sauce before trade show season.
So have y'all been on vacations? Did y'all? We revenged a vacation like the rest of the world, right?
Yeah. Where'd you guys head to?
Hawaii. Mm-hmm. With the other half of the rest of the world.
Yeah. Did you guys have to have like the testing to go between islands?
Well, we only went to one island, but we had to provide our vaccine card. We had to provide a negative COVID test within 24 to 48 hours of getting of our flight landing.
Right.
And then stand in a really long line while they checked all of our...
Yeah, and it did it on an app. When they approved you and checked you, there was an app. And in several places, you had to show it. Like, they wouldn't let you rent a car unless they showed that you had you know, and if for some way you had snuck on the island, you couldn't rent a car without it. So
I did just see some headlines of just, some major fines, and I don't even know if jail time was a part of it, but for people that are falsifying documents that are flying and saying that they're vaccinated, but they're not. And
yeah, I saw some people tried to falsify their vaccine cards in Hawaii, and they caught them.
I didn't see that.
So actually, I just kind of put this up as an idea on LinkedIn, but looking for new business, Albertsons and Walmart just partnered with United Airlines. So if you get a rapid test there, they automatically send it to the airline database, so
nice.
That's your proof. But if people are going to weddings and things like that, looking to partner with local wedding planners, just to say, I can be a resource if you bride and groom want rapid tests or something like that beforehand.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. But we had back-to-back weddings that were in Rhode Island one week and then in Vail, Colorado the next week. And the kids weren't invited to either of them, but we were going to bring them along and make that the vacation.
Okay.
But my youngest is not yet old enough to get vaccinated. And we just, there were other signs that we had a whitewater rafting trip that was planned, and between the drought and wildfires that got canceled. It was just, the world was just telling us, take this one off. So we went to the beach in Ocean City, Maryland, and we made the most of it.
What's the beach like in Ocean City, Maryland?
It varies. There's some interesting sightseeing. There's the beach itself is pretty nice, but the closer you get to the boardwalk, it gets pretty congested, and then the further north you go, it's a bit more spread out. I like to. I'm a big frisbee thrower, so I like to have some space to throw with the kids.
Do you play frisbee golf?
Not as much golf as some of my friends from college, but I did play ultimate in college. And
we used to do that when the back when Pioneer was young and we could do fun things. Back when we were just building it, we would have Geek in the Park Day when all the programmers would go to.
It would be
and we'd play ultimate frisbee. With a bunch of programmers.
We'd get all the programmers to actually leave their computers at lunch and have. I'd pick up food and they just have lunch and play frisbee. When there was and back then when there was like only 12 programmers too. It was an easy to manage. Now there's too many of them.
That was my question. What are you guys up to? I mean, I know the growth has exploded with Pioneer.
As far as innovating during COVID, as soon as the pandemic hit, and it was, how do you help manage patients as far as the messaging outside of if they don't have an app or have the app, and then deliveries, making that the delivery app. Curbside, helping with all of that. So.
And then how in the world do you vaccinate 1,000 people a week, right, and enter that in? If you think about it, it takes 5 minutes to enter in a new patient, enter in the vaccine stuff, and 5 minutes times 1,000 is staff you didn't have. I'm getting text messages and emails at 2 o'clock in the morning. We got to have help. And so there are a lot of retooling and trying to come up with the vaccine importer that made that, and a pop-up form that made it faster. We drove it down quite a bit. So kind of retooling in that area.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, have you guys done any blogs or put out any content on staffing, hiring, and retention? Because, this is kind of unprecedented in how difficult it is to not only hire, but just retain good people during this time.
I don't think we have.
No,
interesting. I don't know if the pharmacies have had a lot of trouble hiring and retaining people. We've been okay as far as Pioneer is concerned.
But yeah, that'd be interesting us maybe to talk to a few of our pharmacists and see,
what problems they might have had. I know medical,
struggles.
like hospitals have had problems. I haven't heard of pharmacy having problems, but just because I haven't heard from it doesn't mean I haven't been to that many trade shows. We went to Florida.
Went to Florida Pharmacy Association in July.
And that was about it for pharmacy trade show. So
yeah, I know it's a big challenge right now, and have heard plenty of stories from some of our customers of just, competitors just coming in, flashing thousands of dollars, saying, "Come with me right now. We need you, and we'll give you this signing bonus." So,
well, I think you saw in the country, when business goes down, and it does that because there's a bubble and the stock market crashes or whatever, and this with COVID, people lay off their borderline people, right? They don't lay off the good people. You get the good people, you hold on to them, you figure out how to pay them, you lay off your average and below average people. And then when things come back, you decide, hey, we made it without them, or you try to hire better people. And so I think there are a lot of people out there, they're just not, a lot of them just aren't the right people. And you look at the U.S. productivity numbers are off the charts, right? So what American companies are doing with less people today is way more than what they were doing before. And you've seen that when we have every stock market crash, things like these crises, we come out and we're better, leaner, more tooled to what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the only scare in the back of the head is what will burnout look like in, the next 6 to 12 months from those people that have been, doing double workload or whatever it might be. And automation is also a big part of that, bringing in some things to, streamline some of the workflows.
Well, Chris, we are running out of time.
Oh, wow. It's already been an hour.
It's been a pleasure. Just burned through that. And we miss getting to see you, and it was nice getting to connect to you here. I hope we get to see you here real soon. And you're not going to go to, you're having somebody else from your group go to NCPA. So
yep. You can look for Kevin at
I don't know. Maybe PDS would be our next opportunity to see you. Are you the PDS guy?
I love PDS. It's a great show to collaborate with some of the thriving independents that are out there and kind of, forward thinking folks. So that's one I like to try and get to.
Thank you for all you do and the cool products that you have. And thank you for the relationship you have with us over the years. And we're looking forward to more of those in the future.
Thank you so much,
thanks so
Chris.
much, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
Great seeing you.
All right. Bye. Thank you for watching the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts to help us reach more pharmacy professionals like you.